of your Master Networks membership. And I see a lot of people that get into Master Networks and they kind of burn out. And we don't want that with Master Networks. It's called networking, not net guaranteeing. And that's what I teach every Wednesday, is how to network appropriately in Master Networks so that you can get a huge return on your investment. I've actually lost track of how much money I've made in Master Networks. Thank you to everyone that's used Sometime Spouse. At last count, it was over $50,000, and that has been just since June the 1st. I promise at the end of the year, I'll go back, David, so we'll have a good return on investment because I need to get But so I am very, very thankful to Master Networks, especially through the pandemic. It actually has helped me launch a third location with Sometime Spouse in the Bell County area, because that is the only kind of marketing that I do. And our Bell County area is getting as big as the Waco area. So it's been pretty amazing. So I want to show people how to network. But before we go into the meat and potatoes for today, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me your name, where you're from, and a quick soundbite. I'll start with Chantel, Sammy, and then Reese.
Hi, I'm Chantel Merriman. I'm with Zoe Books of Life. I am your local child publishing and author of children books. So we write books on anti-bullying, consideration of others, anything pretty much that can help your kiddo with the coping skills today. And the perfect customer I'm looking for is someone that has children that are looking for great Christmas presents for their kids, books wise. Zoe Books of Life.
Make sure to put your information over in the chat so we'll have it, Chantel. Everyone, not just Chantel.
Am I next?
Yes, sir. The ever-changing Sammy.
Hey, I'm Sammy Jarrett, owner of Optimized Marketing Solutions. We specialize in SEO, lead generation, and social media marketing. We can get your website ranked, and we can get your leads going towards you. I mean, we get lead generation going and help you get more leads. I'm Sammy Jarrett, owner of Optimized Marketing Solutions.
Hey everybody, Reese Flood with High and Associates Insurance Agency here in the Waco area, specializing in property and casualty insurance. I know a lot of folks in this group are operating a business or work from their home. If that's you, make sure you've got coverage in place. Don't just assume that your home insurance is giving you the coverage you think it does, because that's something you don't want to be surprised about if a claim ever does happen. So check with your current agent, or if you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to make sure that you have the right kind of commercial insurance in place for what you are doing. Reese Flood with High and Associates Insurance.
John, Sandra.
Hey, you got insurance back to back. John Coursey, State Farm here in Belton, Texas. As you know, many of you may be familiar with State Farm. As you know, we do the auto insurance, we do home insurance, we do it all. So give me a call if you would like to have a quote. And anyway, I'm just glad to be here. And Master Networks rocks. So this is good. Woo! Are you still everyone there?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. That's all I've got.
Did you know that every day, 10 people, there are fatalities of 10 people in Texas? How many of these people were prepared financially to withstand a fatality? Did the family suffer both a death of a loved one and a financial disaster? That's what happens when they don't plan accordingly to what they need to. They're not prepared. And the one thing I would say to all of my master networks, if you don't do something with me, please go at the first of the year and update all your information, financial information. Make sure it's all up to date, your passwords are up to date, and your families know it. My name is Sandra Barron. I'm with Primerica Financial Services. And have a great day.
Mr. David.
All right, David Boswell. I'm your regional partner. I'm here to add whatever value that is going to be. But also to kind of update you on a few things that is happening. First, tomorrow, if you haven't known, we're having a family meeting. It's an open meeting, open discussion, no agenda. What can we do to be of service to each other? Lots of things coming down the pipe, but I want to hear from the membership first. We're going to be putting new leadership in place in chapters and regionally. So I'll be updating everybody on that. And then next month, we're planning a family reunion. And some of that, it might be hybrid, it might be all virtual. We'll see what it looks like. But every year we do it in January. I think that everybody needs to know everybody. So it's my job to do that. Anyway, glad to see everybody today. And I hope if I don't see you in a meeting between now and then, have a happy holidays.
So David, I'm from Missouri and my kid's from Kansas, and we do hillbilly redneck family reunions. Is that what you're going to do?
We'll do whatever comes natural.
Dangerous. All right. Well, I'll definitely put it in because my family reunion got canceled this year because of the pandemic. So, yeehaw. I'm Christy Ogle with Sometimes Spouse. We are the home of the Grinch Smart Home Gift Basket, where you save $1,240 with our Grinch Smart Home Gift Basket. You get handyman services for 1 year and all of the things to get your home smart. So if you're looking for that perfect gift, I recommend the Grinch Honeydew Smart Home Gift Basket. Tell all your friends and family about it. And if you don't know what it is, jump on one of my lives because I do it every day about the Grinch Smart Home Gift Basket. So let's go ahead and get started. We are talking about bond. What is a bond? Now, have any of you ever been in one of those face-to-faces where you're like, I really think that we could bond and send each other a lot of business? I found a washing company that they washed clothes, and I thought this would be a perfect kind of connection. I could send them tons of business. It would be a beautiful kind of marriage and business. And then you sit down with them and it was all a sales pitch. And 2 hours later you come back and you're like, what just happened? Not a bond. Who's been there? Yeah. This is a marriage. This is a relationship. You don't go in for the wedding on date number 1, do you? If you did, congratulations. But I'd like a first date, a second date. I would like an engagement. Like, I want a little bit of a relationship. And that's really what Master Networks is all about. It's not just going in for the kill, is it?
No.
We've all been there. So we want to be able to create that bond. And we talked about bond last month before Thanksgiving, and before we talked about monetizing the Christmas Bazaar. Who was on the Christmas Bazaar? Flipping amazing. Chantel knocked it out of the ballpark, didn't she? Let's give her a round of applause. It was outstanding what she did. It was just amazing. I got business from it. I know a couple other people got business from it, which was what the intention was, but we also wanted to bond with people. We didn't want to just put it out there and sell, and that's not what it was at all. Chantel, explain how we bonded with people during the Christmas Bazaar, please.
Well, I bonded a lot because I got to know get a little more in depth with people versus the 30-second tidbit that we normally do. And also got to learn their products more. And I'm be honest, if I know you and I feel comfortable with you, I'm more to go pitch for you when someone asks me, hey, you know about this, and it's randomly, I just still share my platform. I try to pick people's name as I go and share what they do because I want to see you flourish as well. And that's what I think that a bond does, because we look out for each other. Like Patrick, he's not here, but he went in, he got me, he did me a couple of referrals. So I get to add that in our RI. And it's because we all share that bond. I know it wasn't just because my books are so perfect. It's just because they want to support each other. So that's what I think a bond does. So you want to see that person flourishes as well. You're not just thinking about yourself and your business.
Mm-hmm.
David, what did you see the bond that happened on the Christmas Bazaar?
Well, there were some ugly sweaters there. And I didn't know people had that kind of stuff in their closets. But, other than that, and you guys that were on it, you knew that I threw my wife to the wolves. So I was telling Christy, she does not present her business in the way that I am accustomed to. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't try to train my wife to do anything. It does not go over well. So I told her, hey, look, jump on here and tell people what you do. How do you want to get it out there? And I told her it's a safe place. She has met Chantel, and she met a couple of people on the call, so she felt safe in doing that. And she got a good experience. She got a real good experience. So I appreciate that. The thing is don't tell her that I have fun on these calls. This is work, okay? This is work. So I got at the end of the day, I got to throw some beads of sweat on and be able to, legitimately say I worked hard. So don't be too nice to her, but it was great. It was awesome. She bonded. She knows Christy, made contact with her and looked at her link when it came to her business and her page and everything. So thanks for looking out. Yeah.
And she got us our nails, bling, bling.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, John,
One
we
happy
can
wife.
make it look good, John. We'll put some nails on there, man, and you can show them off.
John.
So to master that skill of bond, with the Christmas Bazaar, we used BOND, that building on common interest. So we asked people a few questions about what they had in common. I heard bond happening when we came on here, and I didn't interrupt between Chantel and Sandra. They were asking questions of each other before that they even went to their face-to-faces. So they are building kind of on that common interest. Sandra mentioned Florida, and then Chantel said, yeah, I'm one of those Florida girls that came to Texas, and now she's freezing to death. So that's how they build on common interest, and it becomes a piece of you. Chantel is amazing at building bonds, and so is Miss Sandra. You start asking questions and caring about the other person. You don't just go in for the kill. It's not the used car salesman that's like, you're here, you're fresh meat, this is what we have to sell. It goes in and you start creating that kind of bond, building on those common interests. And amazing relationships happen when you use bond. Number 2 was the occupation exploration. And we did that during the Christmas Bazaar too. We went beyond what it is that we actually do. When you talk to Chantel, there is a heart behind what she does. When you talk to David Boswell, Like, if you don't know this guy, if you haven't had a face-to-face with him, you need to. I've heard people go, oh, he's just about the numbers. No, he's not. He doesn't care all about the numbers. This man cares about each and every one of you and building your business. That's why he's on all of these calls. He has other businesses to run. He has 2 small children, a wife. He has a life too. But the reason he is here and the reason he is regional partner of Master Networks is because he wants to help small business owners be successful in the regular world as well as in the crazy pandemic world, right? So it's more than just what they do. It's that why. And I was on a meeting earlier where we talked about why, weren't we, David? Like, there's a why behind what he does. It's not just Master Networks. There's a reason he does what he does. And he also, with the occupational exploration, you can see what it is that they need in the future, worries they may be having. So you build on those common interests, you do the occupation and exploration. We've already talked about the B and the O, but now let's talk about the N, needs discovery. This is a huge time of year to talk about needs discovery. David's having a family meeting tomorrow. It's about finding out the needs of Master Network Central Texas. It's asking about the goals, the results, where they might be stuck, and solutions that might help them get unstuck. So I want to go around. All of us talk about a need that we have, a needs discovery, and then we're going to bond with the person. We're going to talk about goals, results, and where they might be stuck in business. They don't have to talk about all of them, but pick one of them: goals, results, where you might be stuck, and then we'll give solutions or listen. And everybody's going to get 90 seconds to talk about one of those. Let's start with, who's my first victim? I mean, volunteer. Reese, you made eye contact.
I will.
Okay, Sandra. Thank you for
Well, if I haven't done a one-on-one with you guys, you don't know that 3 years ago I was diagnosed with a autoimmune disease, and that has kept me from doing a lot of things. I'm much better than I was, but what it has done is it has caused my business to kind of fall off the cliff. And so my next, what I need is to get my business back going again. My husband and I were just talking about doing some goal setting and find out what we need to do and just start doing it, because that is what our business needs right now. Is we need more customers, we need more clients, we need more people to talk to. And you can't talk to people sitting behind your screen. It's just not the same effect. They kind of like that personal relationship building, and that's what we do. Is we go in and we build relationships. We don't sell anything on the first meeting. We just sit and talk to them and find out what it is they want, what their needs are, and where they want to be when they're retiring and having enough money to be able to go out to dinner, not at McDonald's, but to Saltgrass for dinner. And that's our goal, is to get out and get more clients.
What kind of suggestions do you have for Sandra? Because she builds relationships, but it's usually not in a virtual world, right? What can we do to help her get unstuck from that?
I think that Sandra, that goal setting is a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm not being a pot called kettle black, because I'm have to implement that into we just had this on our tidbit this following Monday, and I have to apply, but I'm going to start off with the 1 week versus 30, because I can't see past 1 week. it's like it's exhausting, especially when you got the social media and
Mhm.
everything. And so, and I think that also maybe checking out Sammy or whomever you may to push, because we can't go out in front of everyone. And I've also had to do that as well. So Sammy, I will be calling you. I need to push, well,
Mhm.
you more like, I'm gonna just get on to you. So back to you and not myself. But
Yes.
when we can't be there, I think finding some way to push traffic to you, because a lot of the times we don't know what's there. I mean, people don't know what you have for them because they physically
Exactly.
can't see us, but there's another way to get to them by way of social media.
Yes. Thank you, Chantel.
Mhm.
And Sammy and I had a great one-on-one the other day. I think we were almost over time before we realized it. It just happened so organically that we had things in common with him because he's in the military. My husband was retired military. So we know what that world is like. And just gave him an idea of what our company does, because it does a lot of stuff. People there are all licensed by the state and federal governments. We have to have security, and when I walk out of their house, I don't talk to anybody about them because I could lose my license, and I work too darn hard to get those licenses.
Yeah.
Well, I want to add in that I got to have a one-on-one with Sandra.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. And Sandra, I think in this atmosphere, that's where you shine, is, one-on-one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe should be one of your goals, that
Yes.
if you're in a group like this, or I know you do participate in 1 million cups sometimes up in the Fort Worth area, if you can do that, but pick someone out of that crowd like you do here, like we do here. Just pick a 1 million cups attendee.
Yes.
Say, hey, can we do a Zoom sometime if they're not comfortable getting face to face, or if you're not? Just say, hey, I want to bend your ear for about 30 minutes and get to know you.
Yeah.
That's where you come across really well, is in that one-on-one conversation, I think.
Thank you, Reese.
I can see that, Reese, that the one-on-one conversation is where the value is. And that's going to be a lot of us, really. And that's what's going to separate you from your industry. So it's tough for you to separate yourself from your industry. John Corsi, insurance guy, he's loud and proud and crazy, and you just want to know this guy. Yeah, it separates him from his industry.
Right.
So I think that where you're loud and proud and crazy like John, and with wooing and all.
Probably be glad.
Yeah. But you have the story, you have the why. So when you started out and said, listen, I don't think many of you guys know this. First of all, you're trusting us with that story. Second of all, from your training, from your soundbite, and a combination of what your why is, I immediately thought of my sister. So my kid's sister was diagnosed with MS not too long ago.
Yeah.
And she's a nurse practitioner. She makes plenty of money, but what is she doing with that money?
Exactly.
And her situation just changed. She just got married like 2 months ago.
Wow.
And now she has a husband, and now they're purchasing a house. That her whole life has changed in the course of, all this, a short amount of time. And so my question is, wait a minute, she's been busy because she's on the front lines. Has she thought about, is she prepared if anything were to happen?
Exactly.
Perfect person I'd pair her up with is you, because now I know your why. Now I know your story, and you can relate.
Yes,
So
I can.
Sometimes getting that out there, can feel weird. It's like, I gotta tell somebody. You have to be, you have to feel confident in telling your story. Everybody's got one. Not everybody tells it. Not everybody tells it. So.
And the thing is, anybody who has an autoimmune, they know how difficult that is going through it. I don't have energy a lot of days to even walk from my bed to my chair, but I'm pushing myself because that's what I need to do.
Yeah. And that's where you're going to be strong on these one-on-one conversations, where you don't have to necessarily do all of that. You can have it over Zoom if you need to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can. I prefer having lunch and eating with, meeting with someone in person.
Well, I eat 2 to 3 times a day, so we might as well make it like
All right.
a productive
Call you
thing.
next time I'm around.
And Sandra, something just jumped in my head. There's a guy here in Waco. He's a financial advisor, and he has a special needs child.
Oh,
And so he has created, what he does is financial services for families with special needs kids.
wow.
So he has
to
zoned in his focus for that.
Hmm.
You've got that same platform.
Yes.
I mean, there's a huge community out there that you're a part of that you have, I don't think you've even tapped yet. So
Right.
you could be the financial services person for people with
Special-
autoimmune deficiencies. I know what you're going through. I can plan for your future and your family's future because I'm living it right now. That's
Wow.
the
That's
story right there.
that
Oh,
is amazing.
and before we go on, I wanted to say, Reese, boom, put that face to face, and David was talking.
Mhm.
Our master networks, you got all these open up to you. So
Yes.
you're right. Those one-on-one, face-to-face, especially like New York, they're a cool crew. Georgia was a cool crew. I think some of them did have, everyone has someone sort of in that situation what you're going through, maybe a little different. But I think like Vern, they all know Vern. So I think
Yeah.
you can maximize that as well if you can't,
Mhm.
physically see people and like you don't feel good some days, but you still can do your face-to-face.
Absolutely.
It's like when you set your goals, just do so many in your goals, set so many
Exactly.
up.
So, okay.
And
I
word
like
of
that.
mouth, because people talk anyway. So like when we
Yes, they
meet,
do.
I'm sure I'll be trying to point you to some people because I have
Okay.
quite a bit of friends that have special needs.
Well, that's a great group of people because they're special needs. Man,
Yeah,
it's-
well, that's why Sebastian came about. He's
Yeah.
my nephew was autistic. I mean, I'm always so. Anyways,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, today was my last day at 1 Million Cups. I'm done. It's a lot of work. I don't know how Christy does it. So she's amazing.
I don't know either.
We had I'll send you the one that was here today.
Uh-huh.
It's a student group out of TWU, and they're doing a dating app.
Oh, wow.
And they were very interesting to listen to.
I bet. Can you send me all of your people that you've had over the last year?
I will do my best. I don't care if you have them. I'm not off that yet, but just, if that'll help. I'll do it.
I would be forever indebted to you.
Okay, it's on my list.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a great discussion. Do you see how we talked just for a moment with Sandra and saw what she needed? And then everybody kind of jumped on to help her out. So when she's developing her goals for 2021, she has this kind of clear vision, because sometimes when we're stuck in it, it's hard to see outside of the box, right?
Right.
And so when she bonds with people, she actually blows the box up. It's not there anymore, right? All right, Mr. Reese.
That's a really good question as far as what is the need for me, because I think I already answered one of those needs, and I've addressed it, and that is starting to get in front of more people, and that's what a group like this is helping me do. So I guess my next need is how to translate these, contacts into business, issued policies. And that's what I used to always tell my old boss, is that I'm a horrible salesperson. If you want me to be a salesman, I'm not a good salesperson, but I'm a good service guy. So once, I never had, in my old agency, I never had the largest book of business. I wasn't ever on the top of the sales list each month or each year, but I ended up with the largest book of business because what I did right would stick. So I kind of slow played it, but I built good relationships. I didn't know it, but I was using this bond method.
Yes.
Get to know people and really try to help them out, and it worked. The problem is it is a slow process, and here starting over and trying to get enough business to support myself so that I can then grow. That's my challenge, and I guess that's my need, is how do I accelerate this a little bit to get me more comfortable.
Well, Reese, this is the thing I always tell people. Yeah, if you ever pop popcorn in the microwave, that's kind of way that works. Yeah, you get to know people, and you know a kernel will pop, and then you get to know a few more, and more kernels will pop. If you go to the different regions, get to know regional partners. I mean, Christy was mentioned by name, the New York regional partner today, and they know Vern, and they know a lot of our members that have been in and out of Georgia. Georgia has a happy hour. I mean, just go to that only if you can, you know, leave your manners at home. You know, they get kind of crazy, but a lot of business takes place in there because people bond naturally. But you start to get these cheerleaders, and so they'll start to cheerlead for you. You know, you'll go to a meeting and all of a sudden they're like, man, yeah, Chantel and blah, blah, blah. The New York people were like, you know, asking about her books and are they available on Amazon? And Christy, they asked her, are you franchising? Because you need a franchise up here. And it's like, why do these people have a general interest in me? It's because once you have that big bag of popcorn and it starts popping all over the place, it's great. But the other thing that people don't realize is that when you eat that popcorn, you pour it out into the big bowl. There are some kernels that don't pop no matter what. So people just get disappointed at that. Oh, that kernel didn't pop, so I'm done with this. I'm out of here. And it's really, seriously, it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time, just what you were speaking of.
It's the hurry up and wait.
Yeah, so hurry up and wait.
Yep.
But when you develop the relationships, I've done it both ways, Reese. So I've done it where it's purely off marketing because, you know, I love to do that. And then when we sold Waco and then we acquired it back, I decided I wanted to do something just a little bit deeper than what we'd done before. So instead of just advertising and spending, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on that, I decided to get back in it, and I decided to develop good, solid relationships because I'd done those quick ones before, and they would come and they would go, and they were also the biggest complainers, right? They were the biggest pains in the butts to mess with. But this time when I got involved, I started delving into master networks and building those relationships. And it probably took us about 4 months to get our first true return on investment, that first true lead. And then it just started kind of snowballing from that. And I also jumped in and I decided to add more value to master networks than like people would think that's humanly possible. And I kind of did that with A Million Cups too. And like, it's mind blowing what happens. Like, we just took over the franchise, October 21st of 2019. I kicked out our business partner. I like took it over, Max and I developed strong relationships with people instead of those quick kind of dollars. And what happened is over this 14-16 month period, I'm going to hit $1 million in sales in just a year and some change. Whereas before it took me 2 years to do that. So those deeper, more solid relationships, they take more time to cultivate. And I know it gets frustrating to people like us that we want it now. But I promise you, when you dig in and you start going through the mud, which is a relationship, because that's what they are, is muddy, it's way more beautiful what comes out on the other end. And the thing about it is 99.9% of business owners never get into the mud. They never go in there and develop relationships. It's been hard to develop a relationship with Sandra, even though she's in Dallas, Fort Worth, even though we've known each other for a couple of years. But we stayed in contact with each other. We truly cared about each other, and we developed this kind of bond. And now she's a friend for life. And I hope she thinks the same of me. Like,
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. And it's not necessarily that I've done business with her, she's done business with me because we're far apart, but that bond, she'll send people to me because she trusts me. And I would
Absolutely.
definitely send people to her because I trust her, because that relationship was made.
No, that's so true.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
I went on a tangent.
Yeah, it's okay. It's almost Christmas time. We need to have some tangents.
But it's like that popcorn
Yeah,
analogy.
that popcorn,
Exactly.
that's a great analogy, and
Mhm.
that clicked with me.
Yeah, it is.
I,
That's
I
all
I'm
was
want,
gonna
so
go pop
hungry.
me some popcorn.
I want the whole bag to pop right now, and I just,
Yep, me too.
I can let it heat up first.
Yeah,
Does anybody watch The Office?
I've seen a couple, but I don't watch
Yeah, I
it.
heard of it.
I've seen every episode like 100 times. There's this one scene where Andy, he brings out a bag of popcorn, and when he spills it out, it's like 2 kernels have been popped. And that made me think of that
Mhm.
scene in The Office. Like, you don't want a bag of popcorn where you've got 2 kernels popped. You want that
Exactly.
big, beautiful bag that's not burnt, buttery, and just perfect, right?
Right.
It takes time to cultivate it. It takes time to perfect the popping of the popcorn.
Well, I tell you what, I'm never gonna look at popcorn like that ever again. The same. I'll have a positive spin on it. Matter of fact, I just waste a bag of popcorn in the car this morning on the way to school. So I'll be happily vacuuming them up. I only got a few kernels left in there, by the way.
All right. What about you, Sammy? What kind of needs discovery can we help you with? Goals, results, where you might be stuck, solutions that you've tried that maybe haven't worked or that you're trying now?
So I do have some problems and I do have some needs. One of my biggest problems is with PTSD and ADD. It causes me to, lose focus, sidetrack. I got 10 browsers open right now with a dozen different tabs in each of them because I'm doing one thing, then I need to check another, and then I get a message from a potential client. So I time is money, so I get onto that, and then now I'm back on Facebook. So focused and being organized and trying to do whatever I can each day to continue this business.
What kind of needs discovery can we help Sammy with?
Well, you can use all that because if you look up a lot of the successful people that are ADHD and dyslexic and OCD and all that stuff, you're going to find people like Steve Harvey, who suffered of a stutter for a while and had all of that coming up in school. His teacher actually told him that he's never going to be on television because that was his dream. And so for over a decade, he sent a brand new television to this lady for Christmas until she told him to stop. And so there's people like that. I mean, Joe Biden, stutter issue, school, all kinds of stuff. So I have a lot of big plans for my son, who is dyslexic, and my wife's dyslexic, and all of that. It is not anything that is seen as a handicap. It is very, very creative minded people, learn differently, super smart. My son has a memory that sometimes I don't want to remember half of the stuff he sees and hears, and he just does it, I was a paramedic for 15 years. So I'm PTSD. I did not even know it. But the way that I found out was, and I'll tell you, I'll connect you with her. I mean, after she'll be in this area, she was in this area. Melissa, who is the regional partner in Georgia. Her business is neurofeedback. And when I visited her in Atlanta, she did a brain map on me And that's when she told me, she's, man, you're like a 30-year soldier. What's going on? You know, there's something in your past. And you know, I show and express things way differently than anybody else, you know? And so it's not a suspected thing that I had PTSD. Now I know, and now I know a little bit more of myself. I thought I was the expert of myself for all these years, and apparently I wasn't. So what I would do is, you know, introduce you to her. One, you can get the brain mapping when she returns to this area. I have a home kit here to receive treatment. And the treatment is really easy. It's really cool. But I have a home kit for me and my son here. That's something that you could do if you were interested in treatment. You know, it's something that you could do. But knowing what you're in, your industry, I know that you're the right person, because you're going to think in ways strategically that I never could. So you don't have to be, you know, and I tell plumbers this all the time. You're great at being a plumber. Maybe not the accounting, maybe not the advertising, maybe not taking the phone calls, maybe not. So you find where you can, the strengths where you have a little weakness, find the strength in your members and people around you in your chapter, and let everybody know, you know, that you may this and that. I mean, man, I'm working on stuff and talking to y'all, and I'm multitasking too, because I can't sit still. You know, I need one of those wiggle chairs that they give the kids in elementary school. I need one of those, or sit on one of those fitness balls or something like that.
Yeah, fitness ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Oops, there he went.
So again, you know, I'll tell you the same thing I told Sandra, use your story. People are going to relate to that. And there's people that are ashamed, like it's something to be ashamed of, you know, and they're like, oh man, people will do business with you just because you said that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So sometimes it's like today, it's more anxious and nervous and stuff today. And I really don't know what the purpose behind it is, but pretty much most of this week I've been that way, and it just throws me off so much.
Well, I mean, that's not unusual.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you're looking at me and you're like, oh man, he's putting his work together. He's got it, man, you can't see my desk. You can't see my desk. And you don't know that I took some Xanax this morning. I mean, you have no idea. You don't know what's in this mug. Yeah. I mean, so, I mean, it's just what it is. Those are the facts.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think a lot of us think that we're on this island by ourselves as entrepreneurs and business owners. And I know this was a major problem with me in the beginning, but I realize now, David, Chantel, Sammy, Reese, Sandra, we're all going through the same thing in business. It is hard. That is why most people go to work and they get a paycheck. They got a job. Like what we're doing is unbelievable to most. Like they wouldn't take the risk. They wouldn't be an entrepreneur. So remember that you're a family member in Master Networks. So when you're having a rough day, pick up the phone, call us. We're here for you. Message us, email us. We want to help you get through those rough days, because on some of my toughest days, I have called David Boswell and he's walked me through it. I've been there. Like entrepreneurship is tough.
It
and
is.
I've been almost in tears calling him before. And he's like, Christy, I'm sure he wants to slap me. Like, get it together. Like, Sammy, I want you to know, if anything, from everyone goes through it, don't we all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I don't like to open up about my situation a lot, but as you know, Sammy, you know, I'm retired military, 21 years. I've had 5 combat tours. And of course, there's dark days, you know.
Oh, you muted here.
You muted yourself.
She
you hear me
really
now?
didn't want to tell us.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. But as you look at me, you probably wouldn't know. But if you look at my desk or my room, you'd probably like, what the heck? But we're all, let's true, like they say, we all go through it. And I don't like to get, we're all at different places when you're dealing with PTSD. I would just say, don't be that sergeant major that I sat around as a little E5 and looked at and shook my head, because he was PTSD, obviously. PTSD, as you know, we're taught it's a stigma in the military, and we don't want to get help. But don't be that sergeant major that I looked at years and years ago, and I remember him to this day. He was a raving lunatic. What it was, he was PTSD, and he never went and got the help to get it. He never addressed the issues, and that's the stigma that we had. But now today is different. We're warriors. We have these things, and we have to go and address them, and deal with them the best we can, so we can be successful citizens, after we retire. We have so much, as being soldiers and
Yes.
retired soldiers, we have so much to offer our country, because a lot of that stuff has been instilled and embedded in us, and we're very articulate, and we just have to express it in our own little way. So when you have those rough days, those patches, you just muster through them. But also, I advise you to get with David, get some help, some type of way, so it's a relief for yourself, because it gets foggy. You know what I mean? It gets foggy some days, and it gets rough. You got my number, and we can sit down. We probably drive each other nuts with our stories, but but at least you're getting it out. Don't keep it in there, and don't because you can't function. You can't function if you don't get the help. And if you're not getting the help, that's probably why you feel like you're hitting the wall. I've been there. I'm old Sarge, first sergeant, retired 6 years ago. So I know exactly where you're at. And trust me, it doesn't get easier. I'm 6 years later out, and I still have to deal with this every day. I don't tell people, I don't open up as much about it, because it's just not something I want to sit around and talk about all the time. But I will do it for one of my combat brothers and sisters that I know. And if you're not getting the help, I'm going to tell you, I'll put that boot in your butt and say, go get the help you need. And then you drive on. It's not a sign of weakness, not at all.
Absolutely not.
The sign of weakness is not being true with yourself and not getting the help that you need. Because people see it, we know, we feel it. So people see it. They just won't probably say anything to you about it. But
When I first moved here to Waco, since I didn't have a job yet, and I basically retired from one there in Arkansas. So the VA is right down the street from me, and I did some group counseling for, I think it was about a year, and now I know the techniques and stuff of how to deal with stuff, but sometimes it's still overwhelming.
it is.
I take medication daily to be able to function.
So you still go to counseling, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I haven't in a while.
Yeah.
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 My grandson's going through that. He's 23. He'll be 24 next January. He was in the military. He had a baby. He didn't have a baby. His wife had a baby. The baby died a month old.
Oh, sad.
And so he has just walked through hell. By the time he was 20, he'd already lost his military, lost his wife, lost the baby. And he's going through it. It's been 5 years. So you need to find a group that you can go to and make sure that you are understanding between you and that other person, that this is something you need. You need to have that outside source that you can just go and spill your guts.
Yeah, because you got it in you. You still managing to run a business, and you're doing an awesome job. You were smart enough to jump into Master Network. I would just say take care of yourself too. In order for you to flourish your business and stuff, you got to take care of yourself and your family. We take care of ourselves to take care of everything else. I think that talking with David to get that started, and maybe getting in a group. I know some people. I'm retired from Fort Hood. I know just about everybody on that post. I was stationed there for 11 years.
Oh, wow.
And if I don't know them, they know somebody, you know, for your privacy sakes. But you can always, you got my number on the side chat. In those dark days, you can call me up, and we'll just try to point you in the right direction. You're not out there by yourself, even though you retired from Arkansas. But
Knows about the hillbilly rednecks I was talking about earlier.
yeah, I went to Fort Chaffee out there in Arkansas for about a good 2 months for training. And that's the first time I saw a yellow watermelon. So they are definitely different. But you know, if you need any help, and I will honestly say, I think you're doing an excellent job with your business. You're being brave, regardless of how you may feel. I won't tell you all of my issues, but I have had TBI, and I had to learn to redo a lot of things. That's why I pause a lot. I have little, you know, quirks here and there, but I just try to muster through them, but I do go get help. I'm 6 years out, and I still get help. So I advise you to still get help, okay? Until you're to that point in that place where you feel like you can breathe on your own. But great job mustering through that business that you have and doing what you're doing, because that is tough. You're doing it without any help. And, you know, medication, you know, that's just a Band-Aid sometimes, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It only deals for
It
certain law,
masks
you know,
the-
so.
You're going about it the right way. Not
Yeah.
that I multitask, but I sent an email and introduced you to Melissa.
I copied this out of the chat.
I didn't, you know, reveal anything. I just told her that you're probably a candidate for her unit, and it's not just for PTSD, and it's for a whole bunch of stuff. But I just recommend that y'all have a face-to-face. So
Yeah.
whatever you tell her, you tell her.
All right.
This
Thank
needs
you for all
stuff
y'all's
has
feedback.
been amazing. Like, wow. Like, just by sharing a little bit of information, like, you see you're not there by yourself. There's so many people here to lift you up. Chantel, tell us about you, goals, results, where you might be stuck, or a solution you may have tried, girl.
Well, for me, I think I'm stuck in the area of trying to push more traffic to my funnel. I know I'm gonna get some of your stuff, Christy, but I'm really stuck as far as I know I need to do more face-to-face so I can continue to get my, you know, information out there, and my why. You know, my why is the most important to me, but that's where I'm stuck at, traffic.
Traffic.
To get myself known. You get a sea of books out there I'm competing against, and I'm just trying to get out there and have my share of the pie. And if people don't know about me, how can they buy anything from me?
True. You've got to go from obscurity to oversaturation where everybody knows your name. They're like, oh, that's the orange crocodile lady or the orange alligator feet lady. Like, that nobody might know, but everybody needs to know about the alligator with orange feet, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how do you get their traffic? Like, a lot of people have amazing, great ideas. And this is something I struggle with too, is the traffic. I know I have this amazing idea for a whole smart, but how do I get people to actually buy it? It can't, like, it has to go further because you only turn over about 2% of the people you actually touch. So that means I got to touch 100 people to get 2 sales. So that's what I think about 24/7. And Sammy, I bet you think about this a lot too. I woke up this morning thinking about it. I ride the bicycle every morning. I think about traffic. I look at Master Networks. I'm thinking about traffic. Like, that's what I think about, because I know if I get people to
look at it. Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
So if they see Zoe Books of Life, how do you get all that traffic? How does she get out to thousands of people to get hundreds of book sales a day?
So here's one thought I had is, and I want to invite you to come present at 1 Million Cups, Chantel. I want to do it before Christy does, because I want credit for it.
Good job, Reese.
I need that list, Sandra.
So we need to book you for January. And then Sandra needs to introduce you to the Fort Worth Club, and you can do a presentation with them and make the 1 Million Cups network. You know, they got these things all over the country, and since everybody's doing everything virtually, you can present at any 1 million cups in the country.
Yeah.
I
so
never heard of that.
Right.
1 million
we
cup.
love them.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, 1 million cups is an entrepreneurial group. It's for business owners, to people. Just come tell your story. It's not a sales pitch.
Yeah,
It's a chance for you to tell who you are, what you're doing, and why.
yeah.
And then a lot of times there's a follow-up, there's a question and answer session for anybody that's in attendance. That's the kind of thing you need to do. That will get you in front of a whole different group of people that don't even know who you are right now.
Exactly.
Right.
Sammy, you would be amazing at this.
Yeah.
Make
Yes, you
sure
would
you
too.
talk to me after the call. David.
I already mentioned 1 million cups to Sammy before. I'm
It
chasing
is.
people down, but
Man.
An amazing organization. And I'll still be scheduling until January the 6th. And that's my last
I would love to see
official
your
day.
Do we go in person or
it's by
No,
Zoom.
we're doing Zoom.
So basically,
No.
the spotlight you did for this group, it's that.
Exactly.
okay. Okay, that'd be cool. Just send me the invite.
Okay.
And I want to get you to do the same thing for my Kiwanis Club.
Hmm.
And again, there are Kiwanis clubs everywhere too,
Absolutely.
because Kiwanis focuses on children.
Yep.
That's the group that we benefit, and what you're doing falls in line perfectly with that. So I'm going to talk to our scheduler to get you guys connected to get you on our
Okay.
one of our programs.
Thank
And
you.
Sammy, you would be great at 1 million cups too.
I think it's beautiful. Like you focus on the problem, all you see is the problem and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? But when you start asking the right questions through needs discovery, you're able to see the solution. And as you can see, the solution gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And not just for one person, since there's 6 people on this call, it's made it ginormous for all 6 of us, right?
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Chantel, send me an email saying, Christy, I need your 21 groups.
Okay.
I have access to 100.
I was waiting. I wasn't gonna rush you.
No, I forgot all about it. I have access to over 100,000 people on Facebook, and I have access to way more than that on email. I probably have 500,000. Like, send me an email for the Facebook groups. I'm not going to send you all the email addresses, but I'll
Hey,
help Facebook.
Okay, Facebook. Hey guys, forgive me 1 second. Christy, with that ClickFunnels that I'm gonna send to those group, right? Is there any way that we're able to have it open? You know what I mean? No, just the
You
link.
have to have it as a link for them to click on, but when you want traffic, so what you want to do when you're creating traffic, and Sammy, back me up on this, please, is when you're creating traffic, you want something to stop their scroll. Because what they're doing is they're sitting on their stinking sofa at night and
Yeah.
they're scrolling, right? And
Mhm.
so you want to take it and grab them and stop their scroll for long enough to click on your funnel.
Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
So a couple of things that would stop scroll right now.
A picture.
A
Yeah.
picture with Bowling with Sebastian
Mhm.
and Bugs Be Gone. Something that would, like when you're scrolling, if somebody has something about the pandemic, what reaches out and grabs you?
Mhm.
Alligator with a mask on.
Yeah. And I got one of those too, David. I do. With the mask and the book. You can.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's one that you put out recently that was great. The alligators around the Christmas tree. It stopped my
Oh yeah.
scroll.
That's
Yeah.
Sebastian. Yeah.
Mhm.
It did stop your scroll?
It stopped my scroll.
Okay. Awesome.
Sammy stopped my scroll in this group before with only a certain percentage of entrepreneurs advertise on Facebook. When you
Mhm.
stop my scroll, that's amazing because I don't stop. And then stinking David Boswell, his crap he puts out stops my scroll all the time.
Well, when you, Chantel, we need to hook up everybody with on Facebook where you're advertising so that they can start, I can start sharing your ad up here because do you have an online business as well as, okay,
Yes, ma'am, I
And-
do have a website.
Okay, and put that
Um,
there because this is a time for people, like you say, to buy books for children to read.
Yeah.
And because they
Yeah,
don't need all those toys.
No, they don't.
It's just for you to have to pick up or get rid of every day.
yes,
But,
ma'am.
Or step
Um,
on.
But thank you.
Yeah.
And I will share, if y'all don't mind, I ask permission, whatever it is you do, if you have a little tidbit, I guess we got on the side, we can use that. If you have something you want to send to me by Facebook, do it.
Okay.
And a lot of times throughout the week, hey, this
Mhm.
company, a shout out to the different companies. I think I did Christie's before. And Christy, do y'all make fire pits?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, because I'll probably calling you for my fire pit is falling over. But I've seen this other person that needs a fire pit. They're trying to do what you do, and I was like, oh, that's nice, but I didn't want to rain on their parade and be like, well, you need to call Christy. So I'm waiting for the next project so I can drop that in there.
Mhm.
But if I have your stuff, I will gladly put it on there. Because a lot of times people do have those needs. They just don't know where to look.
Exactly.
And I'll share it on my platform. I don't really care. So.